Hello and welcome to the Happy Little Futures podcast. As always, we're going to take a nice deep breath in and release. Fantastic. So, if your house is anything like mine, at the moment you've got some very excited children. They are very emotional. You are very stressed. There are 3,000 things on the calendar that you're trying to keep up with. A million different things that you should have thought about or should have done or need to do or have to do. There's taxes that need filing by the end of the year. There's deadlines for the end of the working year. And there's, on top of that, maybe even a bit of Christmas shopping. And everyone is talking about Christmas. Wherever you look, all you can see is reminders of all those things that you've got to do by a certain time of year. It's stressful. It's exciting. It's chaotic, utterly chaotic, inside and out. And as much as we love Christmas decorations, I'm sure if you're anything like me, they start to get a little bit much after a while, and you just want a little bit of peace in your house and not lots of things sparkling everywhere. But enough of the Grinch. What I'm here to talk about today is little things that you might be able to do in your day over the next month or so, just to help keep yourself regulated, to help check in with your kids, and just to help make your Christmas a little bit calmer and a little bit less chaotic. So whether you have kids or not, whether you are a teacher or not, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't even really matter whether you celebrate Christmas or not, because in many countries across the world now, even if you don't celebrate Christmas, there are constant reminders of it. There are constant buzzes wherever you go in the shops and things that you know that are going to have to get done by the end of play on 24th of December or even the 31st of December. It could be that it's just with the new year coming up, there's a lot of time to try and finish things off and get things sorted. So in this time, I myself, as well as many of the people that I know, tend to find that I start to get a little bit lost in my thoughts. There's a fizziness. I'm struggling to sleep, which could be because sometimes I snack on sugary sweets. It could be late at night. Don't do it. It's not wise. Time to stop that, Lucy. It could be because we've had a lot of big life events recently with my son's accident and stuff like that. It could also be just that I've got so much on my mind, so many appointments I need to keep, so many things that keep coming out of the woodwork, where it's a concert that I'd forgotten about or something that my child's been picked for and that's fantastic, but does that fit in with everything else? Or even if it's the dog's hydrotherapy and I've got to try and squeeze that in somewhere so that she can enjoy the next few years of her life in a bit more comfort. There's loads of different things going on. And there are little things that I'm doing, little things that you can do to just help yourself check in throughout that time. However, it is difficult. I'm not saying that this is something that's going to come naturally. And I'm not saying that it's something that is necessarily going to provide you with a lot of peace. However, sometimes we just need those little moments, those little pauses in our day to just breathe, to just reconnect with ourselves, to reconnect with the moment, our breath and our body. So, number one thing that you can do this December, starting the 1st of December, I have got an advent calendar for you across all my social medias, not just on Happy Little Futures, but on Be Still with Lucy as well. It's going to be the same one, but it's little activities that you can do, like less than a minute long, for yourself, or you can also involve your children, especially if your child is like a little bit older. Most of them you can do with them, but even if your child's a little bit older, just let them do it for themselves. Take a moment to take that minute to connect with your family, to connect with yourself, and allow your children to do it too. And if your child is younger, do the activity, that minute long, that moment for yourself. Just do it and model that behaviour to them. Because even if there's like one or two things in there that you can't write, that are possibly to write, but even if your child can't write, that doesn't mean that they can't observe you doing that activity, it doesn't mean that you can't discuss it with them. So number one thing that I would highly recommend is checking in on Facebook, Instagram, on the Happy Little Futures YouTube, TikTok, all of those sorts of places that you usually find me, or Be Still with Lucy, and check in with those each and every day and just take that moment for yourself. A moment of stillness can provide us with just that extra little bit of time to recatch our breath that we need. It can help to reground you in a chaotic moment. It can help to just find that moment to connect with the loved ones around you and really sort of help you to stay still and just start to process what actually is your priority. What actually do you need to get done in this moment? So take those moments to yourself. I also want you to really have a think, a good long think, be it now or just throughout the rest of your day today. I want you to think about what you really enjoy doing for yourself, about what gives you peace, what helps you to feel calm throughout your day. I want you to have a ponder and really think about how it makes you feel when you do those things. It might be that your initial thought is, it makes me feel guilty because I shouldn't be doing that. I've got all this Christmas stuff to do. If that's what happens, I want you to do exactly what I do now. I want you to take a deep breath in. And I want you to say in your head or out loud, I let go of the stress. And then I want you to really take a moment again to just think about what you've got to do. What makes you feel happy, what fills you with joy, and what you personally feel when you are doing that thing. And I want you to look at your schedule over the next few weeks, over the next month, even into next year if you like. And I want you to try and factor in a bit of time for that. It could be that meditation actually is really your thing and you really find peace in just a 10-minute meditation each day. Brilliant. Take 10 minutes each day. And if you can't take 10 minutes that day, stop and take a deep breath. Whenever you think about the fact that you wanted to, or you should have, or need to meditate, just stop and take a deep breath. It could be that it's having a bath. Sometimes in our busy lives, having a bath even is not the easiest of things to factor in. Not each day anyway. And that's okay. Try and factor in one bath a week. It could be that you love to read. Take a moment to just read even one sentence of a book that you want to engage with. Feel the pages, really engage with that sentence, that paragraph, that chapter, or that whole book. You might find that actually once you've stopped, you are able to just engage with that whole moment. Or it could be a craft or a food that you like to eat, or cooking itself, or something else, or even going for a walk. I really want you to try and factor in that time into your days. Factor in a moment for you as often as you can, as often as you feel comfortable. But make sure that self-care is high up on your list this Christmas. And as I said, if you start to feel guilty, feel stressed about it, take a deep breath in. And as you breathe out, I release the stress or I release the guilt. And just let it go. Do not let that guilt and that stress consume you. It's not necessary, and it will just be you adding additional pressure to yourself. So I want you to have a real crack at doing that this Christmas. As hard as it may seem, as impossible as it may seem right now, have a go at doing that and encourage those around you to do that. It could be that it's loved ones or children in your class or something like that. Talk to them about what they love. Ask them what helps them to feel a bit calmer, a bit more peaceful. And just encourage them to do the same. And sometimes even just engaging with other people and talking about something that they love, that can provide peace. That can give us a little bit of a breath of something that's not quite as chaotic as normal, that you just sort of start to learn and connect with each other, those people around you. Before I continue, I just want to thank our sponsor, Rowan Fox. And Rowan Fox is a sustainable clothing brand for those adults and children who love wildlife. And you can find their full collection over at rowanfox.com and check them out on Facebook and Instagram. Honestly, their stuff is gorgeous. If you head to my Happy Little Futures Facebook and Instagram, you can see some of their lovely stuff. So check them out for sure. So now, another thing that I want you to do this Christmas, just to help find a bit of calm in the chaos, especially if you have children or a partner around, I really want you to try and connect with someone else in your life. I want you to take that moment with the kids to really engage in a conversation with them. Try not to let the phone get in the way. Try not to let the stress and the, I should do this, I've got to do that, get in the way. Really take time this Christmas to engage with them. I sat down with my son the other week and he was colouring, and so I just started colouring. And as we coloured, we didn't really say anything to start with, and then the conversation started to get going. And it was just things that were coming through on his mind, and he was just voicing them out loud. And it was just nice for him to have someone to connect with in that moment and voice them out to. And it was lovely for me to hear that sort of like calmer moment and the things that he mulls over in his brain. It's also a lovely thing to do to play games, and you don't need a board game. You don't need anything like that. What about charades? You can just act something out. You could play I Spy. Just take a moment to connect like that. It might even be just cozying up on the sofa and just watching a film together. But really put the phone away, put the technology away, put the list of jobs to one side, and just take those moments regularly, whether it's daily or it's bi-daily. Take a moment as often as you can to just really connect with your kids. And most importantly, let go of that technology. That, especially at this time of the year, we're waiting for orders, we're looking at sales, we're thinking about what time someone's coming, someone's going to call because they've got to do this, that or t'other. I want you to really think hard and put the phone in a different room, put it on the other side of the room, and just connect with your kids. Give them that moment, give them that peace. And actually you will probably find that the more you do that, one, the easier it becomes to leave the phone alone and let life tick on in the background without you. And two, you'll find that actually your kids start to feel a bit calmer, I expect. We find personally, I obviously cannot speak for every single child, but we find personally that if we connect with our kids, that connection, that moment of slowing down, that provides that little bit more peace, and they are able to think properly. They've filled their cup up with that little bit of joy and love that you need. And it can then be easier to just quickly do the washing up or reload the dishwasher or swap the washing over. Clearly I have a lot of washing in my life. I don't know why it's all only washing, but to sort out maybe just getting the food prepared and stuff like that. And if you've got a schedule that you've got to stick to it, but factor in that time, factor that into your schedule. Or if you can be flexible, really just tell yourself, this is important right now. This time will not come back. This is a moment for us to connect. Just do that in that moment. And the final thing I want you to do over this Christmas period, and this I think is very, very difficult. Christmas is a time of family, of giving, of love, of kindness. And quite often in giving and connecting with people and doing all of that, we find that we're rushing around and we're not factoring in that slowness. We're not factoring in that time for ourselves. And in a lot of cases, we're seeing people that we wouldn't otherwise see, that we only see once a year. And it's easy to sort of tell yourself that you've got to do that because that is the only time that you can do that. I want you to take some time just for yourself, maybe write it down, maybe journal. And I want you to just think of things that you can let go of. Things that you can do differently, whether it's not seeing someone that you haven't seen all year, a friend that maybe actually when you look at it, you don't speak to each other apart from Christmas, and then you exchange the same box of chocolates every year and carry on with your year the following year as normal. Or whether it's doing something as simple as factoring in that time that you've got for them to a weekend in the new year, to a time in the new year, so that then you actually have a little bit more space to slow down this Christmas, to connect with yourself, to connect with those that are close to you and those that often we drag along with us to all these different things. And just try and factor in time to do that, time to slow down. Think about the things that you always do that actually you don't need to do this year. It could be that you're ridiculously stressed and you always spend one morning going around to everyone's houses and giving them Christmas cards. Whack a stamp on it and chuck it in the letterbox. And then take that time to just connect with yourself, and rather than rushing around, maybe pick up the phone and have a phone call with a conversation with those people. But really try to notice things that you can let go of. Even if it's as simple as you can let go of wrapping some people's presents and putting them into a gift bag that you've got in the cupboard. Regain that 10 minutes that you've got. Regain that little bit of money and just take that moment so that you can put your feet up for 10 minutes to yourself and not have to worry about it. Take that moment to connect, to slow down and really prioritise what's important to you this Christmas. And finally, after Christmas, there's New Year. And I know it's a bit early to say it, but I want you to have a ponder and really spend a bit of time over this period. Maybe closer to Christmas rather than right now, because it does feel a bit early. But just take a moment to think about what you want and where you see yourself going, and things that maybe you feel are missing from your life. It could be time to relax, it could be walks out and about. And as you think of that, I want you to have a ponder about not so much a New Year's resolution. I've said a lot that I think I said last year, actually, maybe, that we don't need to set a New Year's resolution and stick to it. But maybe some guidelines, some intentions, something that you want to really sort of connect with and take time for next year. And it could be furthering your career, it could be spending more time with the family, it could be doing more exercise, it could be something that would look very much like a New Year's resolution. But when you go into the new year, I don't want you to go in going, I've got to do this every day. I want you to go in with the intention of enjoying whatever that is, the intention of taking your time on this journey to really connect with what's important to you and what you want from life. And if you don't get round to doing it one day, that's fine. Let it go. If you do it every single day and you want to pat yourself on the back and not do it one day as a reward, do it. I want you to just go in gently, just thinking about how you want to feel in yourself, what you want for yourself, and really connecting with that and figuring out how you can go about just enjoying that journey. And with that, I want you to take a nice deep breath in and release. And I will see you soon.